Imagine, for a second, a universe exactly like ours. But in this universe, you didn't click on this video. You kept scrolling. And because you kept scrolling, you missed the one piece of information that was going to completely change the trajectory of your entire life. In that universe, your aura is completely cooked. You are living life as a literal NPC. But in this universe, you clicked. You're here. And you are about to secure the ultimate W, because we are diving into a concept so absolutely unhinged, it's going to permanently alter your brain chemistry. No cap, what if I told you that out there, beyond the observable stars, there is another version of you? A version of you with infinite W-Riz, living your absolute dream life. Or maybe a version of you who made one tiny different decision 10 years ago and is now an internationally wanted fugitive. Sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? Sounds completely fictional. It's not. It's actual, peer-reviewed, high-level astrophysics, and the scientists studying it, we need to let them cook. Because the math is mathematical, and it's telling us that our reality is just one tiny speck in an infinite ocean of parallel universes.
Hey, welcome back to MindSpark, the place where curiosity comes alive. Let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered what would happen if things suddenly changed instantly? Stick with me, because the answer is way more shocking than you think.
Welcome back to MindSpark, the only place on the internet where we casually break reality before you've even had your morning coffee. Seriously, to the absolute legends watching this fresh right when we drop at 4:30 a.m., grab a snack, touch some grass if you need to ground yourself, because we are going deep today. Today, we are breaking down the multiverse. And I don't mean the comic book multiverse where people are throwing shields and wearing capes. I mean the real, scientifically valid frameworks that some of the smartest human beings to ever exist believe are actually happening right now. We're going to talk about the 4 levels of the multiverse. We are going to talk about how quantum mechanics basically proves that your choices are creating new realities every single millisecond. By the end of this video, you're going to realize that having main character energy isn't just a mindset, it's a literal law of quantum physics. Let's start with level 1, the quilted multiverse. To understand this, we have to establish one basic, slightly terrifying fact. The universe, it might be infinite, not just really big. Infinite, endless. No borders, no walls, just space going on forever. Now, our observable universe, the bubble of space that light has actually had time to travel across since the Big Bang, is about 93 billion light-years across. That's huge, but it's a finite number. Inside our bubble, there is a finite amount of matter. Protons, neutrons, electrons. Think of it like a deck of cards. A standard deck has 52 cards. If you shuffle that deck, you get a random order. Shuffle it again, a new order. There are a massive number of combinations, like a number so big your calculator would just give up and cry, but it is a limited number. If you sit there and shuffle that deck an infinite amount of times, eventually, mathematically, you are going to draw the exact same sequence of cards twice. It is guaranteed. Now replace those cards with the atomic particles that make up you, the device you're watching this on, and the entire Earth. In an infinite universe, there are only so many ways you can arrange those particles before the laws of probability force them to repeat. Think about it like dropping into a Rangel in PUBG Mobile. You've got a finite map, a finite number of loot spawns, vehicle locations, and safe zones. If you play 1,000 matches, they're all different. But if you play an infinite number of matches, the math dictates that eventually you will play the exact same match, frame by frame. You'll hit the exact same snipes, secure the exact same chicken dinner, with the exact same squad. Space is just one massive map. And because it's infinite, If you travel far enough specifically, about 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 115 meters away, you will find another Earth. You will find another you, sitting in the exact same chair, watching this exact same MindSpark video. You are not unique. You are just a localized arrangement of atoms that is being copy-pasted across an infinite cosmic grid. How's that for an existential crisis? So, level 1 is just our universe, but endlessly repeating. Level 2 is where things start getting properly unhinged. Welcome to the inflationary multiverse, brought to us by a theory called eternal inflation. Let him cook, because cosmologist Alan Guth came up with this in the 1980s, and it is wild. We all know the Big Bang, right? The universe started as a tiny, infinitely dense point and exploded outward. In the very first fraction of a second, space expanded faster than the speed of light. This is called cosmic inflation. But here is the million-dollar question. Did inflation stop everywhere all at once? The answer is probably no. Think of space not as an empty void, but as a pot of boiling water. The water is the rapidly expanding, inflating fabric of space-time. Every now and then, inflation stops in one specific, localized area. When it stops, the energy from that expansion is dumped into making matter and radiation. Boom! A Big Bang happens. A bubble universe is formed. We live in one of those bubbles. Our Big Bang wasn't the beginning of everything. It was just the moment our specific little bubble stopped inflating. But outside our bubble, the infinite ocean of space is still expanding, still boiling, and still creating infinite other bubble universes forever. And here is where it gets crazy. In the level 1 multiverse, the laws of physics are the same, but in level 2 bubble universes, the fundamental laws of reality might be completely cooked. The way the bubble cooled down dictates its physics. There could be a bubble right next to ours where gravity is 10 times stronger, and stars collapse into black holes before they even form. There could be a bubble where atoms literally cannot exist, so it's just a sea of endless light. There could be a bubble where time flows backward. You wouldn't survive for a millisecond in most of these realities. Our universe just happened to roll the perfect stats to allow for life. We got the W on the cosmic RNG. All right, take a deep breath. We are entering level 3. This is the one that is going to mess with your head the most because it doesn't happen out there in deep space. It happens right here, right now, in your room. It's called the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, proposed by Hugh Everett in 1957. Down at the quantum level, the level of atoms, electrons, and photons reality is incredibly sus. Particles don't act like solid objects, they act like waves of probability. An electron isn't just in one place. It's in a superposition of being in all possible places at once, until you measure it. The moment you look at it, the wave collapses, and the universe forces it to pick a location. But Hugh Everett asked a dangerous question. What if the wave function never collapses? What if the universe doesn't make a choice at all? Everett's math suggested that every time a quantum event happens, the universe literally splits into two distinct, non-interacting timelines. You know the movie Inside Out? Where joy, sadness, anger, and the rest are all fighting for control of the console, and whatever button they press dictates Riley's core memories and entire personality. Imagine that, but instead of the emotions coming to a compromise in one timeline, quantum mechanics just hits duplicate. The universe doesn't choose. It just copies the entire command center, copies the girl, copies the whole world. There is a branch of reality where joy won the argument. There is an entirely different, completely real physical universe right next door where anger took over completely. Every single possible outcome actually happens. Think about the implications of this. Every choice you have ever made has spawned an alternate universe. Every time you almost got into a car crash but swerved at the last second, in another universe, you didn't swerve. Every time you decided not to send that risky text, there's a universe where you sent it, and now you're either happily married or completely blocked. You are constantly, right in this exact second, splitting into millions of different versions of yourself. The you watching this video is just one branch on a cosmic tree that is infinitely growing. Your aura is infinite, purely because there are infinite versions of you out there maxing it out. If your brain isn't completely cooked yet, let's push it over the edge. Level 4 takes us into string theory and extra dimensions. We experience life in 3 dimensions of space: up, down, left, right, forward, back, and 1 dimension of time. But string theory, which attempts to unify all of physics, requires reality to have 10 or even 11 dimensions for the math to work. So where are the other dimensions? Theoretical physicists suggest that our entire 3D universe is actually just a membrane, or a brain, for short, floating inside a higher dimensional space called the bulk. Think of our universe as a single slice of bread in a massive, cosmic loaf. We are trapped on our slice. Light and matter cannot leave our slice of bread to go to the next one. That's why we can't see the other universes, even though they might be hovering literally millimeters away from us in a higher dimension. And it gets better. These brains aren't perfectly still. They ripple, they drift, and sometimes they crash into each other. When 2 giant universal brains collide in the higher dimension, the sheer kinetic energy released is so massive that it triggers a big bang. Yeah, the origin of our entire universe might just be 2 higher dimensional slices of bread clapping together. Absolutely wild. We have reached the final boss of multiverse theories, Level 5, the ultimate ensemble proposed by cosmologist Max Tegmark. For thousands of years, humans have used math to describe the universe. We use it to calculate gravity, to build bridges, to land rovers on Mars. We think of math as a tool that we invented to understand reality. Tegmark says we have it entirely backward. Math isn't something that describes reality. Math is reality. According to this theory, the universe doesn't just have mathematical properties. It is a mathematical structure. And here is the mind-bending conclusion. If a mathematical structure can be defined and doesn't contain any logical contradictions, it must exist physically. Somewhere. All possible mathematical equations, all possible laws of physics, all possible geometries, they aren't just abstract ideas on a chalkboard. They are real, physical universes in the ultimate multiverse. Reality is literally just math playing itself out in infinite variations. So, let's recap this absolute madness. You might be repeating infinitely across a quilted universe. You might be living inside a single bubble in a boiling ocean of big bangs. You are actively splitting into millions of different timelines every time a quantum particle makes a move. You might be trapped on a 3D slice of bread in an 11-dimensional loaf. And at the end of the day, you are just a walking, talking mathematical equation. I know it's a lot to process. It borders on existential dread. But honestly, I think it's the most beautiful, empowering concept in science. If there are infinite versions of you out there, playing out every possible scenario, it means that the version of you right here, in this exact moment, is completely unique. Out of infinite possibilities, you are experiencing this specific path. You are the main character of this exact timeline. Own that energy. Now, I need to hear from you. Which level of the multiverse absolutely cooked your brain the most? Drop down into the comments right now and let me know your most mind-blown moment from this video. Let's get a debate going. And if you want to keep expanding your mind and leveling up your understanding of the cosmos, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and turn on notifications so you never miss a drop. This is MindSpark. Stay curious, stay unhinged, and I'll see you in the next reality. Peace.
If this video made you think even for a second, hit the like button. It really helps the channel. Subscribe to MindSpark for more mind-blowing ideas, and tell me in the comments what topic we should explore next. Until next time, keep your mind curious,